I'm Dr. Killer 1207. This is my channel and welcome to MechWarrior Online. This is a one-on-one start for new players, or even if you've been still playing, a start for you guys and a little bit of advice to how to get things going. So the first thing we're going to start out with is your settings. A lot of people don't know how important that is, but we're going to go over that right now. So my camera's covering up, and on the bottom right it says settings. So you want to click on that, and this will pop open. Now at the game, you have this little button called arm lock. I suggest you turn that off and learn how to play without it. We'll go over more why you want that off and learn how to play without it, but I suggest right off the back you click that off. Throttle decay, I have that on, is basically where your throttle decays, but again, prefer your style. First person FOV, I have it set at 68. This is where it's kind of what you prefer. It puts where your view in the cockpit is up closer or further back, so I suggest you mess with that a little bit and decide on your own what you would like. Now mouse settings, okay, I have it set at 0.2. Unlike other FPSs or other games, you don't really want your sensitivity super high. Okay, you want it low on this game. All right, because I have smooth and acceleration off. Okay, and down here is chat, so you can enable all chat, etc. Go from there. Audio, again, you can pick what capture device you want, the playback sound, the music, etc. Video, now here I have it custom, but I run motion blur off, vertical sync off, and damage glow on. Damage glow on is where if you shoot a target, mostly with lasers, or even certain things, you can see a spark, or like the lasers will glow on the mech, and it's good for hitting key components. Brightness and gamma I have turned up a little bit. The reason for that is because sometimes in certain of these maps it's really hard to see the mechs. Now yes, you have heat vision and night vision, but again, we'll go over that on another video. But heat vision only allows you to see a certain distance, and same with night vision, where if you have gamma and brightness up a little bit, it helps you to be able to see them better, obviously. And advanced option is where you pick whatever's best for your PC to run it. Keyboard is where all your, obviously, keys are combined. If you have a mouse that has numbers on the side or more buttons on it, the better for this game. The one thing I do want to go over is this section right here where it says cool shot to launch UAV. Now these aren't combined at first, you have to combine them to something. I personally do cool shot as C for cool shot, artillery strike as X, airstrike for Z, and UAV for V. And they're all three in a row, so in my opinion it helps me. Controller, do not use a joystick in this game. It does not help whatsoever. This is a mouse and keyboard game. So we're done in the settings, and we're going to go ahead and cancel. Now the next thing over here is you're going to see LFG and these three little heads popping right here. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. Alright, so we click on this and this menu pops up. Now you have unit chat here. If you want to read it, it's pretty funny. But over in this tab you have your friends. Obviously it's simple enough, friends. Then you have unit. That's the unit I'm in. I'm in 228, so all my units that are online, it shows which ones are deployed, it shows, and which ones are offline. Over here, alerts. What that does is if somebody wants to add you as a friend, that pops up in there, or if they want to invite you to a game, public game, that will be in here. And then you have LFG. We'll go over that in just a second. Down here you have add friend. So if you click that, you add the person's name in, request friend. Now the thing is their name has to be exact the way it is. So it's a little pain. Here you have create group, which we'll do in just a minute, and then create private lobby. Private lobby is like a private game, basically. We do a lot of training in that. You can have friends and just mess around in it, whatever the case may be. But you do have the person hosting, I believe, has to have premium time for that though. So if you go to create group, right, it's going to ask you two things: public group or community warfare group. Public group is the quick queue, which you would click up here. Community warfare is CW. And if you're new, I suggest you do not do CW, and we will go over that. Um, so we're going to cancel that. Now, let's say if you want to pick somebody up and they're not in your friends list, we say, hey, go on LFG. That's looking for groups. So what you would do if somebody asks you to do that is you would click here, and obviously if they're doing CW, you would click CW. If not, they're doing a public group, you click on public, you hit OK. And when you drop in here, it will show you a list of guys. Okay, so here, I can join their group. Now, you sit in there and you wait until the person invites you. Now, let's say I'm inviting one of you viewers to join my group. So we're going to leave this. I would create a group, let's say public group, hit OK, and add this group to looking for group. I always do invite only, okay, because I don't want random people joining my group. So I hit OK, and then bam, this pops up. So let's just say Zero Shift was supposed to be in my group. I can just hit that, invite to public group, and boom, he's in my group. And right then and there, a little sign pops up. I can click that and add him as a friend. So that's that. And then you leave group, and again, it's the same thing. Add me, or create group. Community warfare is exactly the same thing. You add yourself in there, invite only, and this pops up for community warfare. So it's two separate things. So we will leave that. Now, down here is basically like a newsletter of the game, and they kind of go over the events, and then if you click on it, it pops up the website and you can read more on this stuff. I don't really mess with that. And over here you have logout, which simple enough tells you what logout is. So we're going to go over here, and current battle mech, it tells you what mech it is, and it says trial, so we can't go to the GXP quite yet. Down here though is premium time. Now with premium time, you make what you would make without premium time plus 50% more. If you're serious about the game, it is worth having because it does help the grind a lot more, even in CW. Right here where it says MC, that is real life money for the game. Meaning to get premium time, you have to have MC. To buy bundle packs, you have to have MC. To buy mech bays, you have to have MC. Yeah. So you kind of sometimes have to spend money, but it's not a lot. Here is a universal C-bills. This is the game money. Okay, this will buy you mechs and build mechs for you. This is what you need to grind for, to get mechs and build them. Okay, and then GXP is for skills, which is up here, and we will go over that as well, where you build that up over time and get that. Purchase MC is basically, you click that, website pops up, and you purchase MC. And then activate. If you have time just sitting there and you don't want to activate it quite yet because you might be taking a vacation or something, you leave that alone until your time runs out, and then you hit activate, and then it adds it on. So from there, this is basically just showing your mech. Okay, it's a class heavy, tonnage 65, the chassis, which is the mech, what it is, the variant, the nickname, which once you own your own mech, you can name it whatever you want, the XP you have on it, the GXP total, and then the transition cost if you change basically XP to GXP. And I'll, like there it shows convert, but you can't because there's a trial mech. We can go over that later as well. So over to the left, again, if you're a new player, you click on this and you have nothing but trial mechs. Okay, the key is you get 25 games where you make 50%, or I think it may be more, of your first 25 games where you're just raking a lot of money, even without premium. I suggest that you play more than 25 games before buying a mech, unless you're for certain what type you want. Okay, and the reason is for that is because you want to know which particular mech you're going to really enjoy. And I mean, again, you're only playing trial mechs to really figure out what you're going to like. So I always tell people play more than 25. You know, get the feel of majority of these mechs. And these aren't badly fit. No, they're not great, but they're not horrible either. So they're doable. Um, and then well, weapon groups we'll go over when I show you my own mechs. So trial mechs, play more than 25 games, do the quick match, and go from there. Inventory is basically where all your stuff is stashed, from your mechs to your weapons that you have, and it'll show you the amount. So let's say like I have 34 medium lasers, you know, you can sell them. You click this, you hit sell, and right here you can pick how many you would like to sell. Equipment's the same thing. Same thing as weapon systems. Shows you how many equipment you have. Standard heat sinks, which I've already sold 61. But jump jets, engines. You don't want to. Most of the time, you don't want to sell weapons. You don't want to sell engines because you will end up using them at some point in time, unless you have a huge amount of them. But other than that, don't. And then modules, which we will go over modules at another time, but you never want to sell your modules either. And omnipods, that has to do with clan mechs instead of IS, which we will go over as well. And you really don't want to sell these either. So achievements are basically the achievements you earn throughout the game. So like this, you know, get 2,500 assists in heavy mechs. People's Hero, get 20,000 assists in medium mechs, you know. So you get achievements like that, and then sometimes they reward you with that achievement on what you're doing. So you get like bridesmaid. Let's see down here, a title, the bad company. You know, let's see down here, 600,000 credit bills. So these are pretty nice to do that. And then you have Academy, Basic, which this is good too. Okay, so basic tutorial, right? If you're new to the game, you also want to do tutorial, because if you finish the tutorial, you get an easy 2.5 million credits. Easy, right? And then if you do this one, you get 500,000. So I suggest doing the tutorial. That way you get that easy 3 million, and then you can play your matches. From here, it just shows your progression as a pilot challenge. So again, it rewards you. And loyalty, this is CW. Again, we'll go over CW at another time, but these also again reward you. Like Davion recruit, I'm all the way up to a sergeant, I got a drop ship for it. Corporal gives you C bills plus GXB. Private gives you a mech bay and 75,000 C bill. Now we'll go ahead and close that and back out of this. Statistics, if you click on that, it opens up another window. You have to log in, and what that just does is, what it says is, you look at your statistics, your kill death ratios, what you're good at, in certain maps, you know, what your statistics are. Redeem code is, again, if somebody wants to gift you something, or time, or max, or whatever, you hit that and you go in there. Titles, and that's again where it comes from achievements, and you can pick what you would like to be called. As it shows here, I'm a knight. So, yeah, and we'll go over all this as well in a minute. But, you know, title and badges, and that's basically what that does. And then badges, you can pick your own badges once you get them. Testing grounds. This is great for when you're trying new mechs and you're trying to see if the build works properly, or you want to adjust where your buttons are, what weapons going to be grouped on what number, and you can pick what map you would like to try it on. I always do Caustic Valley because it's not hot, but it's not cold. It's like, it is kind of hot, but it's a good map to do it on. But that's testing grounds, and of course you have tutorial, which again I strongly suggest you do if you're new. So we will go over this. Obviously it shows your pilot name, your title, which title is just a title, and then your pilot skill. Okay, what this means is that it's your skill level. It goes from 5 to 1, 5 being the worst, 1 being better. To get to 1, you have to have good games. Losses don't help, but if you do well in losses, your tier will either stay equal, or it'll rise. So it all depends on your gameplay and how well you do. And then over here it says our unit name, our unit tag, and how many members we have. So now we're going to hit the mech lab. And when you click on this, as you can see, it says you may view and edit equipment on trial mechs, but only purchased mechs may be saved. And what this means is I can take all this off or whatever, but I can't add anything on it. It won't let me save. So I will show you, for instance, like that. Okay, I can add it, but I can't play it. So for instance, if I go to my mech, let's just click on that. We'll click yes. And again, there's that XP, and we'll go over the skills in a minute, okay? If you go to loadout, we're here, let's say I just take off a couple key sinks, right? I can hit save. This is where you can build your own mech. And again, we'll go over that more. And then here, and yes, we want to not save that. I have that set up properly. But here, weapon groups, where it shows the torso, which would be the torso, and then the arms. So that's why you would test it out and see how and the way you would want to group them. And then camo spec. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't worry about camo spec. It's basically the colors you can make your mech and all that. And then cockpit items, same thing. I really wouldn't worry about it until you really have gotten into it, where you can throw more in there. Your main focus needs to be getting the mechs you like. One thing, once we hit skills, I'll show you what I'm talking about on this. But for right now, you want to kind of try to play a little bit of everything, and feel what you personally are good at. And like I said, don't stop at just 25 games. Go to 50, go to 100 until you have 3 variants that are solid. And I would tell you what that means right now. So if we go to skills, right, you got this huge thing coming up. You're like, oh, what? Okay, look, it's all listed. You got lights, mediums, heavies, assaults. So we'll do assaults. We'll go to the Banshee. Now, as you can see, I have 3 variants with all this XP, right? And if you hit mech tree, what it shows is the basic, the elite, and then master. Now, to elite, you need 3 variants of the mech. And what I mean by variants is 3 different mechs, but the same mech. So, for instance, if you see here, there's a Banshee 3S, Banshee 3E, Banshee 3M. Now, they're all Banshees, but they're different. They have different quirks, they have different setups, they have different things. In order to elite that, you have to have 3 of the same mech, different variants. So you have to basic them all, then the elite pops up. Once the elite pops up, it takes longer to do it, but then you can elite them. It's very important to have your mechs elited or even mastered, which this opens up another slot for your mech, and we'll go over modules. But heat component, cool run, kinetic burst, torso speed. I mean, this is all important. If I take an elite or a mastered mech against not even a basic mech, I will probably beat that mech because of the things this gives. Like quick ignition, it doesn't seem a lot, but startup and shutdown sequence speed up to 33%. So let's say you overheat and I overheat and you don't have this, I will restart my mech before you do and be able to fire upon you faster. Fast fire, same thing. Cooldown reduce. Speed tweak is always nice because, well, your mech goes faster. Anchor turn, increase the turning speed of battle mech by 2.5. So all of these have a certain reason why they're important. This one is useless though. I wouldn't worry about that one really. Do that one last once you hit elite. So now this is where GXP comes into play. Now this is XP on your mechs, okay? GXP is for the pilot tree. Now here is where it kind of gets a little crazy, okay? So you have all, it'll go from pilot modules down to everything, the cooldown. I mean, you have them all, okay? So modules you can wait on when you first start out. Get mechs first and then work on modules that fit your mechs, majority of the mechs that you're playing. So if I click on mech, this pops up. So again, like anything else, it individualized. Advanced zoom is a waste, but radar depth and advanced seismic is personally my favorite two to have. Radar depth, what it does is once you're out of sight, LRMs, which are long range missiles, can't hit you. And seismic, what that does is if you're sitting still and a mech's moving, they pop up on a mini map, kind of like Halo, as a blinking thing. You can predict where they're coming from. But again, you can go through and read all of these, and they will tell you exactly what they do. You have vision, target, and again, the mech, it shows it. These are modules for the mech. Now, if you go to consumables, these are for consumables. We'll go over consumables as well. And then you have weapons. Okay, you have range, where you can add the range on weapons, and they go up by 5. So if I click this, it can go up 5 times. So like my large players does 10%. Okay, so 2% every time. So I suggest if you use certain things, max it out to 5. You have cooldown, it's the same thing. It goes up to 5 by, let's see here, LRM 10 by 12%. And everyone is different, 12%. Then you have malicious, where, yeah, not going to worry about that. So we're going to go ahead and back out of that. Now we're going to go to pilot trees. Yeah, and then this is the pilot trees. Boom. Store is basically here. You click on this, and what this has is, you know, again, like kind of like a newsletter thing too. They kind of do this, but then they have this where they show you deals that they have on mechs. And this is why I tell you guys, play more than that, because there might be a deal come up where you might want to buy a battle master, or you might want to buy a griffin or a clan mech, you know, where, let's say like a hellbringer or something. You know, be patient. Then you have bundles, where they sell you bundles. You click on this and it shows you what you will get out of that bundle. And sometimes they have deals on bundles too, which are always nice, because some deals like the Marauder pack was $20 for 3 mechs and 30-day premium. And obviously you get mech bays with them, because those mechs have to go into something. And then here is where, if you don't want to spend real life money, I mean, not on sale, but here's where you buy your mechs. And obviously champions you have to buy with MC though, and then same with hero mechs. But here's where you will, let's go to mediums, okay? And we're at the Centurion, but the Griffin's on sale, right? Well, it shows you it's on sale, and every single one is priced different. So you pick what you would like to buy, and you also would want to look at the corks, because the corks matter huge, which we will go into later as well with IS. Clans don't really count. And then here's the mech bays, where you click to buy mech bays. Boosters is where you do your premium time. If you have the MC, or yeah, MC, and you buy premium time. And then consumable is where if you want to buy them, but you can add them on your mech and consumable. Okay, so we're going to skip faction play right now, and we're going to go over here to where it says click play. Here, if you're NA, you kind of want to have both Europe and NA on, because those are the most popular at certain times. If you're NA or Europe, I don't suggest Oceanic, because the ping there is just awful. And then once you figure that out, you hit click play, and what this shows here, if you see where it says light 7%, medium 23%, heavy 51%, assault 16%, and then it'll show underneath your ping what you get best in. Now we're going to go back to the matchmaking status, okay, where it says heavy 48%. That's almost half, and it fluctuates. Now it's 53, so that's more than half of the people are playing heavies, meaning it'll take you longer to get into a match than it would playing a light that's at 13%, or an assault that's at 16%. So you can do the weight and play the heavy if you really want to, or if you want to get in a quick match, you throw on a light or throw on an assault and you play, and boom, you're good. Okay, so we will talk over a little bit about corks and mechs. Okay, so let's see, should we do, I don't have any, let's do yeah, we'll do heavies. Okay, so we're gonna do the Timberwolf. Everyone loves the Timberwolf. It's a great mech. Okay, here, we'll do this so you guys. Here the loadout. Okay, and when you pop this open down here, we're not really concerned about this because it shows it all up here anyways. What we're looking at is the quirks. Okay, if you can see, missile cooldown -2.5%, energy cooldown -8%, laser duration +8%. The only thing it's got going for it is +2. It's a clan mech, so they don't really have any quirks. What the clans have over IS is speed. Okay, the one thing you need to learn about clans is you can't change the engine, you can't change any of this over here. What happens though is you change the omnipods. So for instance, left torso, you see how it shows a laser and a missile, right? Well, what if I want a ballistics and missile there? Well, you take that off, put it in there, click this off, and you drag it over. Well, it also does cost money. In this game, if you don't own it, you have to pay for it. So basically, clans work with omnipods. Okay, almost the same thing with weapons. You add them on, but there's a lot of things you can't change with clan mechs, but they are still very good. So we're going to go ahead and go to an IS mech to show you the difference on what a Thunderbolt to. Let's do a Marauder. Okay, yeah, we don't want to save it, so we're going to pick yes, it will be lost. We understand. Okay, so we're going to go to loadout. Now here, IS is completely different. It costs more too to fit them. And again, that's why I said play more than 25 games to figure out what 3 mechs you want the most, because you want to fit them properly. It's very important to have your mechs fit it properly. As people, you can go to certain websites that show builds, mech spec. There's plenty of that out there. Now, eventually I would do reviews over mechs. Hands down all that. But we're going to go here and look at the quirks now. Okay? So we're ignoring all this. Here, look at the quirk difference. Acceleration +30, turn rate +15, structure. What the structures do is it makes it more tankier. Okay? All around. Obviously, left torso, left leg, right torso. It gives it plus structure to it to make it a little bit more tanky. The turn rate for torsos +25, energy heat -5, deceleration, laser duration. Okay, each one gives a bonus, and every mech has a particular quirk where certain weapons will be better. So let's go to the Thunderbolt here. Maybe this one here. Okay, so we'll go to loadout, and again, IS, you can change these to add more. Like this, I can add more, but what that does is that takes up more slots, so you can't fit more items in it. So you kind of want to look at builds, test things out before saving it. You can add double heat sinks, you can change out the engine, you can change out jump jets, you can change, well, even on clan you can change the things, but you can change out the engine, you can put XL on, which again with IS though, if you put XL, let's say, you see how these engines popped up? In an IS mech, inner sphere mech, if this right torso gets blown off, I'm dead. So just remember that before doing XL. See, you get more tonnage, meaning I can add more firepower and add more things on. But the downfall on that is my left or right torso gets taken out, I'm dead. So in this build, I don't use it. But we're going to look at the quirks real quick. Where here, large pulse laser range +10%. Energy heat generation, energy range, energy cooldown. It's a laser build. So, well, large pulse lasers. Don't get it wrong though. You don't have to build mechs to the quirks that are given to it. There's a lot of mechs, we'll go to the blackjack, where the one here, where I use an AC-20, but the quirk gives bonuses to AC-2s. See, I don't like using AC-2s, so I'm going to run with the 20. But it also gives ballistic velocity +30%. Ballistic heat generation -5. Range, cooldown. Just because that one quirk's there doesn't mean you have to use that. Build the mechs to what you like. So we've gone over the clans, we've gone over the IS, and what we probably should do is actually talk about this right here, very top. Tonnage, firepower, speed, armor, heat management, and how many double heat sinks you can have and fit, and the engine. Now this is all basic stuff that you will know, okay? How many slots you're using. What's important is this right here, the heat management. Heat management is how much you can fire your weapons and the heat goes up before you shut down. The higher the heat management you have, the more you can fire, and not as long will it take to cool down. So a lot of people like running alphas, which we will go over again on another video, but you always want to look at this heat management, and depending on your playstyle, my playstyle, I at least like to have 1.2 or higher. So for the final thing we're going to go over is, we're going to actually do modules real quick. Consumables. Each consumable, remember, you have to combine the keys. Cool shots are for your heat. So each one does a certain type. So like cool shot 6 will only do 6. Cool shot 9x9 would do, I think it's 18. And then you have cool shot 18. But if you look here, even though I have 4 left, I'm careful on using them because it costs 15 MC to use this because it's 18. Each one costs money to use, okay? And it shows it all there. And where you put them is where it says consumable here. So you would drag them over, let's say like cool shot 6 here, and now you can use them. And if you continue want to play this mech, you click auto refill. So every time you're done with it, it automatically refills it. Well, you're going to lose between, let's say if I use both my cool shot and UAV in this situation, I will be spending 50,000 in a game to use these, okay? Down here are your modules. So I always click on owned items, meaning the items I can use. Radar depth, like I said, I love. You can put these here. So a lot of mechs sometimes only have one slot here, and this is where mastering the mech comes in play, because you can also put one down here if there's only one slot up there. So, and then down here are for like an AC-20 cooldown, I'll put that there. Medium laser range, boom. And then you have modules which help by 12% and 10%. Every little inch you can get in there, you want to. So for instance, if I go to, is this one? Like here, right? Okay, so I put on radar depth, right? I don't want LRMs hitting me. Who wants LRMs to hit you? Okay, well, I want advanced, I can't do advanced seismic because it's not mastered. But I can fit all these out. So it's good to have the 3 mechs to master, so you can use multiple, or you can put another weapon, actually, another weapon one in there as well. So you can also add like that. Oh wait, well, yeah, you can put that in there. So yeah. So those are the modules. Engines is engines. You know, you look at the engines and all that, but you can also, like, this is running in Excel, and you can move it up, down. It does cost a lot though. Equipments for ECM, sensors, or cases, double heatsink, jump jets. And then you have your ammo, which in this case we're using SRM6s, or if you're using AC5s, or whatever costs ammo basically that's not energy based. And then here are your weapons that you can pull over and drag out. Okay, so the final thing is faction play. I beg you, do not do faction play, do not do CW until you have mechs that are fitted properly. You don't even need modules. I personally don't use modules in CW, but I have decks, and I'll show you what I mean by decks here in a minute, okay? So we're going to click on faction, and here it shows all the factions. You have clan factions, which are getting stomped by IS factions. Now, faction loyalties, again, is it takes you back there. Nope. But sorry, the reason I say this is okay, let's say you join a faction. You have no idea what you're doing, right? You have to click on this, and what this does is it gives you, this pops up and it shows you what mechs you have to put in a deck. And you can edit them. You know, you can pick the ones you want. You know, like this, you don't want to run a trial mech in CW. Okay, you want to run mechs that are good, that are mastered, that have, that you know you can play well. There's a lot of times we get new people in CW and they just get stomped. And that's because they don't know the teamwork. They don't have the mechs for it. They don't know what they're doing. And take the time before doing CW to learn the game, learn the mechs, because every mech plays different, to do CW. Once you do get to that point, you can play CW, you can edit. And here it shows you the tonnage that you can use. So current tonnage I have with these 4 mechs is 260, and the max is 260. So I'm at my max. I can't add, let's say, another assault here. Okay? So if I want to, like I click on this, and let's say I want to add another battle master, well, I can't. I'm over my limit. You know what I mean? So I have to come back down here and put my mech back in. But I strongly advise that you don't. And then if you do, you hit attack. But again, this isn't a place that I'm going to go over fully with CW. Management thing, it just shows where everyone's at with their status. And also here, rank, you know, shows all that. But yeah, I just don't suggest that you do that at all. And also too, another thing you need to realize is if you start a faction with any faction, depending on how long, basically I'm already in a faction so I can't really show it, but you will pick a faction and a list will pop up and you'll scroll through, and if you pick one, the longer you do a contract, you're kind of like a merc doing a contract with them. You're saying, I'm going to join you and I'm going to fight for you, blah, blah, and you get rewards out of it. Like I was showing you the rank, or what is it, faction loyalties, you know, where you win, or like House Davion, I was done for a while. You get stuff out of them the more you play Davion, or the more you play Leo, or whatever the case may be, you get those things. Now the problem is say you join a faction, you don't like it. Well, to break that contract, you're going to have to pay. You have to pay C-bills in order to break that contract. So for you new players, please stray from CW until you're completely ready for it, or until you meet a unit that can really show you how it's done. To drop into CW, even after I say 50 matches, is really not good. I would say do 100+ games in quick play before you even step into CW, because CW is a whole different world. It's a whole different thing. And you don't want to get in there and not play well and not know what you're doing. You know, join a unit to really get you there and move from there. But that is the tutorial, the one-on-one of the mechs. If you have any questions, just post a question down in the YouTube video and I will answer them, or join my stream and then you can also ask me questions there. I usually go over what I'm doing there, and there will be more videos to come. I hope you enjoy this. Hit that like if you do, and thank you for tuning in.